Hello everyone and welcome to Shelby This Week. Top news stories, a barricaded gunman in his home, and rezoning on Shelby Road. All this plus much more, but first, a standoff between a gunman in his house and Shelby Township Police and SWAT team ended peacefully. It happened on Greenview Street off Ryan Road near Auburn Roads. It began around 8:30 in the morning on Tuesday, November 11th. Dispatch received a 911 hang-up call. Police Captain Stephen Stanberry tells us what happened next.
Dispatcher tried to call back twice and no one picked up to answer the call from us, so we dispatched police cars to the scene, and upon our first officer arriving on scene, he did speak to the person involved, but the person was in the basement. He started coming up the basement stairs. He had a rifle in his hands, and when our officer confronted him and spoke to him briefly, the gunman then retreated into the basement and the standoff began. Of course, our entire department was down there. Everybody that was working that day was there. We set up a perimeter, kept the gunman contained to the basement. We did have some brief phone conversations with him, but then those ended and we weren't able to make further contact. We notified the Sheriff's Department, especially after we had the shots fired. There were 3 shots fired by the subject in the basement. We then notified the Sheriff's Department, who responded with their SWAT team. And as soon as they were set up and were ready to start taking over the scene, the gunman came up out of the basement and did surrender and was taken into custody. So, our officers did a great job in their response in setting up a perimeter and keeping the scene contained, keeping that gunman in one area of the home. And I also want to thank the Sheriff's Department for their quick response. I mean, they were on top of it from the time we called, and they were excellent to work with as well.
There were shots fired in the basement. 1 round came up to the 2nd floor. No one was injured, even after he shot off the 3 rounds. Police did not return fire because they didn't have a clear sight of the gunman. They showed great restraint. The standoff lasted about 2.5 hours. Now, police will pursue charges against the gunman. Apparently, an argument between the gunman and another man started the situation over a pack of cigarettes. A new subdivision is being proposed in Shelby. A rezoning petition and site plan was brought up at the recent planning meeting. Shelby Road Enterprises wants to build 46 new homes located on the west side of Shelby Road, south of 21 Mile. The area is vacant right now, next to a cemetery, adjacent to the American Legion Hall. At the planning meeting, dozens of residents came out to oppose the petition. Traffic was a concern. The land is on a slope. Drainage issues were also raised. The Planning Commission approved rezoning from single-family R1B to R1C, meaning lot sizes are slightly smaller. The Commission tabled the site plan until changes requested by the Planning Commission are made by the petitioner. A monument in Shelby, a place to recognize and honor our veterans, received some negative remarks recently. John Martin reports.
On Veterans Day, the local media reported that the names of fallen heroes were unceremoniously removed from Shelby's Veterans Memorial. The reports in effect cast aspersions upon this sacred site, when in fact the names were simply transferred to a new memorial constructed specifically to honor soldiers killed in action in the global war on terrorism. Shelby's Veterans Event Coordinator explains why the names were first added to the memorial and why the names had to be transferred to the new memorial.
Now, when we got hit on 9/11, we didn't expect to go to war, but the memorial was already in place there. These lunatics came, flew the planes too. I don't have to repeat that. Everybody understands that. Mr. Bush declared a war. It was called the Global War on Terror. Here we are with a KIA, and now where can we honor that individual at, that hero? Where can we honor him? And so, you know what? I put my thinking cap on. That's correct. I put my thinking cap on for all the combat and the types of jobs that I had in the military. And I can't even talk about it, but mainly it was all war for me, my experience with the military. And It came one day, the header was put up there, state in Iraq, right between World War II and Korea. I said, oh my goodness, military protocol is broken. It was broken right then and there. Well, we got 2 more KIAs killed in action. Their names came underneath Iraq. Once again, here it is, 2, 3 KIAs. And I'm looking as these names are being put up. I know military protocol is not being followed here. So now we have one that came back from Afghanistan. Now what do I have? What does the township have? We did get another KIA. Now we got 2 KIAs from Afghanistan, and no place to honor these 2 heroes from Shelby Township. So that's where you got to put your brains to work. We got to get them done. That's the way we are in Shelby. We don't wait 2 years, 3 years, and put them in a brick paper on the floor. We don't do that here. So I go on picking up donations so that we can order a memorial and put all the KIAs, all them brothers, put them underneath one heading, the global war on terror. Now we don't have to worry about where we're going to put Afghanistan. God forbid we go and put other countries. It's not a Christmas tree out there. You just hang bulbs where you want to hang bulbs. That's not how it works in my mind. Or the military. To put a cover over the word Iraq, that was done. To put the word, cover of granite over the KIAs, that was done. But in my heart, when I see them going on another memorial next to that memorial, because that's what they all are. They're all memorials. Everything up there is a memorial. When I seen them names being covered and transferred over with their other brothers from Afghanistan, and that global war terror out there we have, that we got in our hands right now, we don't know what to do with. Now I can see their names going on there. That is not what you call removing it from a memorial and throwing it over there in the Parks and Rec trash can. We didn't do nothing like that. I mean, the way the media come across, I mean, wow, I hate to say what, I even hate thinking that it came across on Veterans Day. My goodness. That memorial site is a KIA area, and Shelby Township respects it. They listen to me. They take my advice. And I'm going to keep on honoring all them heroes up there. I don't care who don't like it. It's something that we don't have to do as a community. No community has to put memorials up for the residents. No community. We do that out of being patriotic over here.
Shelby's memorial site is a work in progress. A fountain has been added, and benches will be installed near it in the spring. Also, the Heart of America Memorial will be placed on a 16-inch granite base to increase its height and moved closer to the other memorial. For Shelby This Week, this has been John Martin reporting.
And again, these monuments are to honor the soldiers that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. We hope they continue to do just that. Coming up, what are your top priorities for Shelby? The township wants to know. And a visit to Selfridge. Stay tuned.
That's low. That's low below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Tick, 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 tick. Massive heat waves.
Heat waves.
Tick. Severe droughts.
Tick, tick.
Tick, tick, tick. Devastating hurricanes. Tick, 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 tick.
Our future is up to you.
Tick.
Go to fightglobalwarming.com while there's still time.
There was a work session held recently focusing on the township's top priorities for the next year. Residents, the board, and other committee members gathered to collaborate on necessities for 2015. Other priorities: community development, road improvements, and sharing services with other communities.
I agree with a lot of the issues that have been raised. Most of them are needs that have been around for a long time, and it's nice to be able to prioritize them from a resident's standpoint. And I know the bottom line is the funding, and so having the citizen input, I think, is a valuable tool that the township can use to set the priorities for their next projects.
Shelby has an online survey you can take and give your opinion on top priorities for Shelby. Go to shelbytwp.org to take that survey. Residents came out for a wine tasting event, all for a good cause. Shelby TV's Katie Shimatero tells us about this wine tasting soiree.
The Shelby Lions Club held a wine tasting event at the Palazzo Grande last Friday night, where residents from all over northern Macomb County came out to enjoy themselves and give to a good cause.
We have 900 people here tonight. You get to taste over 100 different wines. We have scotch tasting, beer tasting, many prizes, food, and then we have a DJ that dances all night. So it's a special evening for everybody to have fun. And then we get money for Leader Dog, which is about $38,000 for a dog.
At a hefty price of nearly $40,000 per dog, Leader Dogs for the Blind are always in need of funding and donations. The Shelby Lions Club is a nonprofit organization that raises money for local charities, and they have partnered up with Leader Dogs several times in the past.
Our Lions was a #2 in the United States for giving the Leader Dogs, which is huge. Every club in the world almost can recognize the Shelby Township Lions, which is great.
With a turnout of nearly 900 people, the Shelby Lions Club raised almost $60,000 in proceeds that will be donated to Leader Dogs. To get involved with the Shelby Lions Club or to donate and attend future events, log on to shelbylionsclub.org. For Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Shimatero.
A local scout pack found a great way to honor our military, and what better place to recognize our soldiers than at Selfridge Air National Guard Base. Andrew Shelsky reports.
A local Shelby Township Cub Scout pack bestowed honors to veterans and current military soldiers this past Wednesday.
Today we wanted to, there's a direct correlation between scouting and our military veterans, and I wanted to expose that because I think a lot of people don't really know that it exists. We wear a flag like our military does. And more importantly, I wanted the boys, especially at the young age that they are, from 1st to 5th grade, to understand, recognize what Scouts stand for, the patriotism, just where it all began. It started with them, our veterans. We have a fairly large number of veterans in our pack, and so I knew that I wanted to expose them somehow. And we have done a number of flag ceremonies, Pledge of Allegiance at the Veterans Day celebrations at Shelby Township, under personal invitation of Mr. Randazzo. And through getting to know him and his story, I thought what better place to share that than our pack and have a Veterans Day themed pack meeting.
During this special Cub Scout meeting in a hangar on Selfridge Air National Guard Base, the pack honored past and current soldiers with a ceremony, and veterans gave a little knowledge about their time in the military.
In today's day and age, there's so much that goes on that kids think that it's not real on TV. They see all the bombs going off and the military flying overhead. They don't know it's real people. So it was a really good opportunity for these gentlemen to sit down and talk with these Cub Scouts and actually interact with them and tell them that they too can be a military service person when they grow up and give back to their country as well.
Many of us in uniform started in scouting. It started out the discipline, it started out the love of country. You learn about citizenship as an 8-year-old. And I think that's an area where we don't really do that on a day-to-day basis in our country now. But organizations like Scouts really imbue that with the kids. And then to hear that from folks who have gone and done very heroic things in their lives, to hear them say that and to tell these 8-year-olds, I relate to you. I was in your shoes once, and now you can see where we've been and what we've accomplished as a group. So I think it's really important for the kids to hear that, to be able to connect with the old guys, but to know that we were once there, and that's where we got our start. As I was greeting them as they came in the door, and it was fun to see them because their eyes were just darting all over the place. Every one of them asked me, "Where's the helicopter?" And when the helicopter taxied in here this evening, you could tell they all ran to the windows over there and lined up and just saw it coming in. I think it just kind of showed them that, there's a lot of things that happen here on the bases, and it seems like it's a really neat thing. Watching helicopters take off, watching the aircraft take off, and those are the fun parts of it. But for them to then hear from the veterans that there is a hard side to it, that sacrifice that the kids have to do when they earn their badges, when they're earning their ranks, that their sacrifices translate into what we have to do as the other side of the fun job. So for them to see both sides in one evening, I think is a really neat thing.
For Shelby This Week, I'm Andrew Shelsky.
And speaking of veterans, there was a veterans event at a local school recently honoring our heroes with dignity. The energy at West Utica Elementary was elevated as veterans young and old were invited to an honorable assembly put on by the students. The national anthem and other patriotic songs were sung with American flags proudly waving. To the oceans, white with Students began practicing for this event back in September, learning songs and choreography on a weekly basis. Retired teacher Tom Guizdala started this event over 26 years ago, says it has grown a great deal over the years.
It has been a wonderful time. It teaches patriotism to the kids and appreciation for the veterans who have done so much for our country. It's a nice welcome home for the veterans. If they weren't welcome home before, they certainly are now, because we certainly appreciate our veterans because they have kept us free for well over 200 years.
Hundreds gathered in the gym to hear stories from the veterans, the guest speakers, including parents, teachers, Superintendent Dr. Christine Johns, and Shelby Township resident and active Army member Crystal Sarvello attended the assembly.
I did not know that public schools still did ceremonies like this. So my sister asked me to come, my niece and nephew go here, and I was completely blown away. All the children knew all the songs. It was emotional and fun and really good time. You could see the pride in their face and the appreciation for them getting invited and being able to have this experience as well.
Principal Bradley Suggs says this is the biggest program West Utica does for the community.
I think this is probably one of the biggest civics lessons that we can actually do, to actually give to our students that to the notion of what veterans are and what Veterans Day is and what it celebrates. So this is an ongoing endeavor for us here at West Utica. It's part of who we are, and it's part of who we're going to be in the next future years.
The feeling of unity went throughout the gym, honoring veterans in Shelby Township. This affair shows students what veterans are and what they have done for our country. Some gave all gave some. Great event for our veterans. It's time to make a splash for Shelby. On Sunday, December 7th, stop by the new roller rink for a Parks and Rec roller skating fundraiser. All proceeds go to help raise funds for a splash park at Gene Shepherd Park. The rink is located at 50625 Van Dyke. The fundraiser goes from 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Tickets are $10. There's a 50-50 raffle tickets and prizes. Call 586-731-0300 to buy tickets. Giving away $100,000 sounds like a good idea for charity, and that's just what Shelby's Allure Medical Spa did. About 1,600 people came out for the annual Marine Corps Toys for Tots soiree. Guests brought a toy for Toys for Tots, used as a raffle, and at the end of the night, Allure gave away prizes. There were about 30 different raffles, a variety of procedures done right here in Shelby. Dr. Charles Malk tells us how it feels to give back to the community.
It feels fantastic because the exciting is that we're creating jobs, and the staff has a good place to work. Hopefully have a good environment for them. But we want to teach our office into being more of a giving office. We want to be more charitable personally and as our group.
Allure Medical Spa welcomed the Marines to help gather toys for tots in the area.
Events like this are pretty much what drive the community. It's what brings in the largest quantity, and it really allows a child to have a Christmas when, in any of the situations they're in right now, might not have a Christmas normally. So it's a great event.
Not only is Allure celebrating toys for tots, but also their 10-year anniversary.
We started out doing some veins and then cosmetic surgery, cosmetic procedures, surgical, non-surgical, and we've been here for 10 years. We now have 2 other locations, one in Clarkston, one in Livonia, with plans to open 3 more within the next 6 months.
Allure reported over 1,500 people came out, donating more than 1,000 toys to the Marine Corps Toys for Tots. Few will bat an eye at this next new business. For longer, thicker eyelashes, Shelby Township has a new business for you. The Lash Lounge, a beauty studio located on Hayes Road. Professional lash extensions is their expertise. Lash extensions can be permanent or semi-permanent. We were at the ribbon cutting for this unique business.
We are a lash lounge studio that specializes in semi-permanent lash extensions. We also offer waxing services, we do facial treatments, and we also offer makeup too. So we kind of like to encompass the whole beauty business and offer to our clients.
Dark, thickened eyelashes is a big beauty trend. You can check them out right here in Shelby Township. The Paint Creek Holiday Art Market has arrived. The Paint Creek Center in Rochester has over 100 local artists represented at the local art auction this year. A number of them have been here for many years, some brand new. Director Raina Edgar tells us what's up for auction.
We have functional ceramics. We have fiberwares from scarves and hats, purses. We have distinctive jewelry, as well as a number of prints for sale as well.
Holiday ornaments are a big sell, and so are the scarves. Get some shopping done while you enjoy this silent auction. You can buy a unique handmade item and support Michigan artists. This event goes through December 30th. Here's our Did You Know segment of the news. We bring you interesting facts about different topics. Did you know that sometimes famous people don't always use their real name in the spotlight? Did you know that clothing designer Ralph Lauren's original name was Ralph Lifshitz? Katy Perry's real name is Katie Hudson. Demi Moore's real name, Demetria Gines. Actor Al Brooks, his real name, Albert Einstein. The reason for his name change is pretty obvious. Meg Ryan, her real name, this is a long one, Margaret Mary Emily Ann Hyra. And Woody Allen's real name, Alan Konigsberg. Chevy Chase's real name, Cornelius Crane Chase. Alan Alda from famous MASH TV show, his real name is Alfonso D'Abruzzo. And did you know Whoopi Goldberg's real name is Karen Johnson? That's our Did You Know for the week. Up next, a shipwreck anniversary. We'll tell you more after the break.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she is the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Edmund Fitzgerald was the name of a freighter that was christened on June 8, 1958, and held the record as the largest vessel on the Great Lakes at 729 feet long. Then, on November 10, 1971, Lake Superior's churning waters sunk the Edmund Fitzgerald taking the lives of 29 people on board. It's the 39th anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald sinking on Lake Superior. Famous singer and songwriter Gordon Lightfoot wrote a song about the Edmund Fitzgerald back in 1976. The Canadian singer-songwriter wanted to commemorate the shipwreck with a ballad that originally released on Lightfoot's 1976 Summertime Dream album. And that's Shelby This Week. You can watch us online all the time at shelbytv.org. And remember to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ShelbyTWPTV. Thanks for watching.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Gitchagumi. The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. That good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November came early. The ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As the big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and good captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. Then later